Hi, I'm Eli Prinsen from hybridvocaltechnique.com. Today's video is going to be a vocal analysis video of the late great metal vocalist Steve Grimmett from the band Grim Reaper. Okay? Now, we lost Steve not too long ago, and it was a huge loss for the heavy metal community. All right? The song we're going to check out today is from their 1987 album, Rock You to Hell. We're going to check out the title track, Rock You to Hell. This song was kind of in defiance. The lyrics were in defiance to the PMRC, the censorship that was happening at the time, things that were going on. And so they wrote this song, Rock You to Hell, in kind of a defiant mode, right? I got to say this before we even play it. I'm going to play the official video. I'm going to check that out, kind of react to it. But this guy's vocals, he is one of my favorite singers of all time. One of my favorites. He's almost like a Dio on steroids. I mean, just super high range, natural, belted sound. It's just incredible. All right, so let's check this out. I'm going to go ahead and play it, and let's get to it. Do I even need to say anything? Really? I mean, wow, right? Just right out of the gate, just rips a, right around E5, just rips a high note out there. Just the first thing you hear. Absolutely perfect, awesome. And has that little tiny bit of edge on his voice, that little bit of grit, a little bit of raspiness to it. That just sounds absolutely killer, right? Perfect vibrato, just, oh, what can you say? I think you could see what I'm talking about when I said Dio on steroids. I've described Steve Grimmett's voice like that before. It's like the growl and the just intention behind his sound reminds me of Dio, and I think he was was influenced by Ronnie. But man, let's listen to some more. In the video, he actually reminds me of my coach, my old vocal coach, Al. He has that same look in his face when he does that one little clip there. Absolutely killer, man. I mean, I'm just having so much fun listening to this. It's kind of like, you know, technically, okay, if we have to talk technique, I know that's kind of what an analysis video is. Talking technique, yes. He's got a very high voice. And I'm going to do a little bit more in this and play some live stuff for you from '87, from the same year that they released this. They were on Headbangers Ball, and they performed. They did a full concert, and he just absolutely slayed live. I mean, even with more distortion and grit. Okay, let me play a little bit more of this so you can check it out, and then that way when we switch over to the live version of this, you'll see how this guy, he didn't just kill it in the studio, he killed it live too.
Always do what mama said. Brush your teeth and go to bed, 'cause that way, number one for me. And I won't listen to music.
All right. I didn't even stop the thing. I just I just had to keep going. It's so good. Let me go ahead and pull up the live version so we can get into that a little bit, because I just want you to see, or actually to see and hear how this guy brought this stuff live. Okay, and absolute full voice. I mean, no garbage live. You check this out. All right, I could just sit here and play this and just keep playing it and never say anything to you guys. Sorry that I kind of lost myself in this. This really brings me back, okay? Because in the metal years, I mean, I was 17 when this came out, and this blew me away. I liked Grim Reaper. Before that, I used to listen to, like Wrath of the Ripper, See You in Hell, and, Final Screen. Really good tracks back then. I always liked his voice, but when this album came out, I really felt like he peaked as a singer, and the production was killer. And Nick Bocott, man, Lefty, just looks like he's doing, I don't know, like a mad scientist playing that guitar. But they got it all together on this album. They really pulled it all together. And they brought that rawness that they had to the level of production that they deserved. And his voice just absolutely peaking right there, in my opinion. And he ripped until he got sick. He ended up, Steve Grimmett actually lost part of his leg. He had all kinds of things going on, and he never stopped. He never stopped. He was always in the studio, walking, or not in the studio, but on stage, killing it. Walking with a cane and a head-worn microphone with a artificial leg, and this guy was, he passed when he was 62, and he ripped all the way up until then, rock until I die, right? So I just wanted you to see that even in the live tracks, he even brought a little bit more dirt on the vocal, a little more distortion, and even threw in extra high notes that weren't on the record. And the cool thing about that is that performance, that concert, and I have seen other concerts, all throughout the 80s, but in 87, when that album came out, they would open with that. They would play all the way through and end the concert with See You in Hell. Okay, and if you've heard that song, you know how high that note is, and he holds it forever. And of course, they flood the delay and just let it carry forever. But yeah, I mean, all the way through, adding high notes that aren't even in the performances. This guy was a beast. Okay, so technically, he had a very high speaking voice. He had excellent technique. Belted. He had it was kind of like if Dio sang power metal, but then joined Grim Reaper. That's the only way I can describe it. Just absolutely awesome. So anyway, this was one of my favorites. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're not a fan of Grim Reaper, you should check out all their stuff. Every bit of it from the beginning to the end. Stuff with Steve Grimmett. Excuse me. So have a wonderful night. Hope you enjoyed this. Rock on.
Judgment Day is here.